A friend suggested I post this here. This happened a couple of years ago. I, 28F, was dating Max, 29M, for 5 years. We were full on together. We lived together, shared finances, had 2 dogs, etc. My best friend Amy, 28F, lived 10 minutes away, so we were always with each other. We were pretty much the 3 musketeers. One day I'm scrolling on Instagram and I see my boyfriend in the background of a picture posted to our local bar's page. He was supposed to be at work and I'd never been given a reason not to trust him, so I figured it was an older picture as we go there a couple times a month. But when he got home he was wearing the same blue button-up and jeans. I had a horrible feeling in my stomach, but I didn't say anything. That night I went through his phone. Yeah I know, but we've always shared passwords and have never had an issue with using each other's phones. When I checked his messages I saw a chain with someone named Jack. We didn't know Jack, so I read through them and my heart just fucking breaks. I've known my best friend since we were in diapers, I know how she texts. But I checked the number just to be sure, and yep, they were talking behind my back. Not just talking though, there were pictures and mentions of sexual acts that had happened. I spent the night crying and sending myself all of the screenshots and everything I could find. By morning, I realized that I can't just confront them. I need to prepare. So I set out to put money aside. I tell him our fridge is broken, so I'm using some of our savings to fix it. We need a plumber for this or a handyman for that. All lies, but I needed a reason to pull money out of the account we both had access to. It took me 2 months, but I was able to pull enough out to put a deposit and pay a couple months in advance on a new app that I found that was closer to work and pet friendly. I was able to slowly move stuff there while he was at work. I told him I was doing some spring cleaning to clear out the clutter. In the meantime I fucked with their heads. I'd mention things about each other that would cause drama, like telling Max that Amy talked about a cute guy from work, or telling Amy that Max mentioned marriage and kids with me. She's infertile due to a childhood illness. The day before I was leaving I set my plan onto motion. I knew where my best friend went for lunch most days of the week, so I watched and waited. When she arrived I went in and pretended I didn't want to throttle her for breaking my trust and my heart. We sat down and chatted and I slyly mentioned sex with Max. In their messages she told him that she didn't want him to sleep with me. Apparently she'd become quite possessive of my I made comments about how sore I was because we did it rough just like I like it. How good he was at oral, you name it, I mentioned it. Her face got redder and redder and it was amazing to watch. I'd seen her react that way before, but I never realized why. She'd always insist on watching late night movies with us or ask to sleep on our couch instead of going home and be mad when I had to say no, I want to have privacy with my I just thought she was lonely or a little clingy, but I never would have imagined she didn't want to leave because she wanted to make sure we weren't having sex. Later that day I go home and once again pretend that everything is normal. But I sit down on the couch with him and snuggle up to him while he watches too. After about 20 minutes I straddle him and ask him how his day was and blah blah blah. Then I bring up that I ran into Amy at lunch and you all never guess who she was with. I told him how Amy was with Dave, her real-life coworker that has hung out with us multiple times, and how it's so cute that they're dating now. When I say he froze, I don't think he even breathed. He just sort of muttered, I didn't know she was seeing someone. So I tell him all about how I caught them kissing, and after Dave left to go back to work Amy told me all about their amazing sex life. And of course I had to add in there that Dave was the first guy to give her a real and how she's always had to fake it with guys before. I've never seen him look so dejected before. That night I asked that we do a phone-free night, which we'd do often so that we could be in our own bubble. I could tell that he was a little hesitant, but he turned his phone off and put it in the basket we use for it. We watched a movie and cuddled on the couch, and he stayed as stiff as a board for the majority of it before he relaxed enough to fall asleep on the couch. Once he was out, I grabbed his work phone and sent out a contact list-wide email about how I may be in a bad mood for the next couple of weeks because my mistress gave me the clap. Then I changed the passcode on it and turned it off. I knew that he wouldn't turn it on until he got to his work site that was 40 minutes away. As soon as he was out the door I immediately packed my bags, important papers, and the dogs and left. I also unscrewed most light bulbs, took the batteries out of the remote, took the router plug-in so he wouldn't have Wi-Fi, and cranked the AC up to 80F. When I got to my new place, I sent her a text asking how my PY tastes and then blocked them both. Then I posted screenshot to my foo and let everyone know what horrible people they were.